When minutes mean the difference between life and death for accident or hospitalized patients, the crew at STAT MedEvac make every one of those minutes count. Today, we learn more. This STAT MedEvac helicopter is ready to take off at a moment's notice from Elser Airport in North Lima.
We can end up in Columbus, Cleveland, Erie, Pittsburgh. We go anywhere we're needed.
STAT MedEvac, based in Pittsburgh, conducts on average 10,000 flights a year.
Specialized treatment and transport is our motto, and I think that we really live good to those terms.
Tammy Weaver is a STAT MedEvac flight nurse. She says on each flight, there's a paramedic and nurse who've gone through vigorous training, and that pilots must have 2,000 hours logged to be eligible for the job.
We're actually lucky with a lot of the crew that work here live locally. I think our farthest away is Akron. They know the hospitals, they know the area, they know where they're going usually when a certain fire department calls us.
Their calls include transports from one hospital to another when time is critical.
When our services are needed, the doctor at the hospital decides the patients need transport from hospital A to hospital B. So he will call us, and our transport center gets everything in motion. So when a patient's really sick and it might be a 10-minute flight, but could be an hour drive because there's just no easy way to get there, and we can get them there a lot quicker.
Or the call could be more of an unknown, the scene of an accident with victims in critical condition.
Your adrenaline is running a lot more when you're going on a scene run because all you could think of, what am I going to find? What, you just can't wait to get a look of the scene to see where the car's at. What, is it a semi versus car? The car's totaled.
Pilot Jim Durda and paramedic Randy Ott took us up in this 135 for a test run to St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Youngstown. Safety is of utmost importance, with the weather always a concern.
We have two pilots sitting in our communication center that are looking at the weather at all times. And what happens is they will check the weather, and it's a red weather, yellow weather, green weather day. So red weather means we can't fly. Icing for this time of year is kind of bad. It's very bad, actually. But as far as visibility and the height of the ceiling, how high you can fly to make sure you don't run into anything, and the visibility, how far you can see, is the key as to whether we can take a flight or not.
STAT MedEvac has a strict maintenance policy, and each helicopter carries double engines, weather radar, and night vision goggles for the crew.
The aircrafts are very smooth, but when it is, 40 knots of wind, you feel like you're in a boat sometimes. I mean, it kind of rocks our little patients to sleep.
But this medical team does much more than just transport. Their capabilities on board can mean the difference between life and death.
Even though you seem like it might be just a short distance, where that actually has made a difference, whether the patient's able to get to the OR or not. They're losing so much blood, we're able to, give them the blood that we carry.
Is it nerve-wracking, or after all these years, is it just something you get used to?
Well, I think you get used to it a little bit, but, it's always, the saying always holds, once you think you've seen it all, there's always something new.
And you can see in her eyes, after 7 years as a STAT MedEvac nurse, Tammy still loves what she does.
Honestly, the rewarding part is to be able to see a patient afterwards, to be able to see somebody that was so sick and you never thought that the ending would be as great as it was. When you can actually realize that you helped somebody or even save somebody, that is the most rewarding part.
With the Regional Chamber Report, I'm Kim Gonda.